Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to share with you today this cute little pastel cottage I was working on. It is a tiny home only coming in at 64 tiles. It is built on a 20 by 20. It is 1 bedroom, 1 bath. It is on the gallery for 34,744 simoleons. And then this lot is in Copperdale in the Plumbite, there we go, Cove area of the neighborhood. On the Little Falls Nook, as you can see in the left-hand corner lot. I like this lot because it's tiny, it's cute, and it's got this little river in the background. It's full of foliage, and it's perfect for little cottages. I actually built my fall cottage on this lot as well. But like I was saying, I'm super excited to show it to you. I don't know, I think it's probably because I've been doing a few modern builds lately, which I've been having so much fun with, don't get me wrong, but I really wanted to do something gentle and soft and lightly colored, because it kind of feels like modern builds are more like darker colors, sharper edges, not so like, you know, gentle. Nothing wrong with it at all. But here I am doing this little cottage, and I originally was going to do this stone from Cottage Living with a blue paneling, but then I saw the door from Cottage Living and realized that this is my favorite color of green I've ever seen in my life. So I wanted to get the paneling to match, and then I just went with this the soft blue original swatch of the windows from Cottage Living. A good majority of everything I'm using in this build is Cottage Living because it's a cottage, so that makes sense. And then Cottage Living, Copperdale, and the High School Years pack. Those are the 3 main packs that I used through this build. I really wanted to add some depth and difference. I don't know what I'm trying to say there, to the back of this build, but since I already exceeded that 64 lot tile, I added this little bump out window instead, and that it's a 1 bedroom, so it's kind of like the only bedroom. Also, when I place those little square windows, it makes the house look like a puppy. And I didn't realize it till I was editing. But I end up using that shelf I used in the back there as a little plant shelf later, and it's super cute. And then I added the roof tile, or the roof piece, on the side of the house because I wanted to give it kind of an interesting roof shape, and I thought it kind of made it really gentle looking and very kind of more circular. With the roof, it's all rounded, and I just thought it looked really nice, and it made it look a little bit different. So I went with that, and here I am now working on the floor plan. Again, this is a tiny home, so there's not much places for things to be. Open floor plan concept, pretty much. I mean, other than the bathroom because it's closed off, and the bedroom because it's upstairs. But I really like how this really all came out and came together. And I put that chimney on the right place, right where it would go if this was a real house. And I was actually pretty proud of that fact. I know it's something little and silly, but I thought I liked it anyway. And then I used this flooring from Cottage Living that I've never used in the swatch before, and I don't know why, because it is absolutely gorgeous. And here I am making a fool out of myself, thinking, why are these roof pieces so difficult to put on? And then realizing I was putting it the middle piece and the end cap, so it wasn't snapping correctly, and it was entirely user error. I decided to add these little bunny pieces on the roofs too, because tell me it's not darling, you cannot. So I added one sitting one right at the front of the house, and then this one kind of looked like it's sleeping off the roof on the side here. This side piece did take some finagling, and I think it's because of the roof trim above it and then the size of the roof piece itself. So I had to use the 9 and 0 keys to kind of raise it up to where I needed it to be. But in the end, I really do love how it came out. Here I am picking out a wallpaper. I do change the swatch to be a little bit lighter because I wasn't exactly liking it's a medium wood tone, but I want it to look more pastel and more light, so I switched it out to where the wainscoting is blue instead. And then I'm adding this wood paneling for the rest of it because I thought that looked really nice, and it kind of complemented the floor, and it was light just like the rest of this house. I went with a blue, green, pink, and off-white. Oh, I apologize. I made the wainscoting white and the wallpaper more blue. That's what I did. I apologize. But I What was I saying? Oh, I was sorry. I was talking about the color scheme. I went with that color scheme throughout the entire build, and I really do like it. It's so feminine and soft, and I don't typically do that, so it was really nice. And I did intentionally leave the wainscoting on this like wall separator to be a different color because I wanted it to like I don't know, it made sense to me in the moment, and I can't really describe it to you. I'm not very good at describing things anyways, but what my brain said, but it made me feel like it was like more different, if that makes sense. Anyways, I'm grabbing this table from Cottage Living as well, and I was originally going to do these chairs from the Spooky Days stuff pack, which is phenomenal. The chairs, the couches, honestly the furniture in that is really good. It's a good builder's buy. But I decided on these other ones instead because I thought that they looked like, I don't know, cute. I like the way it looked better. And yeah, I did play test this entire house, so I know for a fact that it entirely works. You can access the kitchen, everything in the kitchen from the garbage can to the fridge. And then the TV works, and you're able to navigate through the entire build. So everything should be a-okay and just fine in this regard. But I did absolutely enjoy building this. It was so fun, especially when it comes to landscaping. But I'll try to save my love for the landscaping to when the landscaping is done. Here I am just picking out some things for the living room. Just trying to keep it kind of like pastel, colorful, adding bits of things that are new with bits of things that look more old. I know that these couches are a little bit more boho, and I liked it. I add this salt tray, and here I'm looking for the tea set that actually came with my wedding stories, because I thought like, okay, this is where they'll go to have their tea with like whoever it is that they're inviting over. Technically, you can have 2 Sims living here. There is enough room for 2 Sims. There's 2 seats at the table. There's 2 spots in the bed, several spots for couch, but I figured this would be for one probably female Sim, but I'm not one to judge. You can live wherever you want. Yep, I'm just kind of decorating this up with some plants, and then I end up putting a I wanted to do like the coat rack, but I wanted it to be a little bit different, so I decided to use these shelvings that came from high school years. I'll pull them out here in a second. I used the little bottoms, I think the top 2, but I might be incorrect on that. I used these little bottoms, and I thought that they matched really nicely with the lamp and the TV stand. I picked that over here, and the light pink and the little painted flowers on the bottom were just way too cute to pass up. But I use this overhead hanger dresser thingy too, and I hang up some clothes that I thought maybe would look nice. Like maybe it's just like coats and scarves and a little sun hat for when they go out. And then I made sure to put their little shoes underneath of here, a little basket where I figure maybe they hide their little things, a little pocketbook on this just to add some kind of like realism. And then I put a knitted octopus, because I was like, that's like a little Easter egg. It's super cute. And then this bunny being put right here on the side, the wall height. I loved it. I thought it was so darling, and it does not interfere with the fridge at all, so you're more than able to use it. And then I just put a little knitted turtle up here because I thought that was cute. And I'm coming back with kitchen clutter. I didn't over clutter the kitchen too much. I wanted it to kind of have like more space and not enough space. I added a little folded yoga mat. That's not actually functional, but I thought like that would be, it's kind of like a good little piece of lore for your sim. And then the phone and keys I put down on the coat rack thingy. Here I am. I'm going to look for a shelving unit, and I picked this one from Eco Lifestyle. I like it because it's got like a lot of towels and blankets, and obviously this place doesn't have very much storage, so I figured like that's where they're gonna put it. If they're gonna put it anywhere at all. And then I end up cluttering those shelves with kind of like some kitchenware, some kitchen storage for sure. I got like that bucket of apples, which I thought was really cute. And then I add these tins from Country Kitchen Kit, and I put like a milking bucket. I don't know what it's really called on the very top shelf. I removed that white box from Dream Home Decorator, and I put the little, I think it might be base game, but it also may be Cottage Living as well, but you'll see that here in a second. And here I am just kind of free placing things on the shelf as I want, because I want it to look a certain way. And I end up putting like a little bucket of lemons on here as well, to kind of give it like, this is also their pantry storage, not only their blankets or their linen closet-esque as well. So that's kind of what I finished up in that corner. I add a picture to the wall later, and I'm just gonna clutter up this kitchen. I only clutter up this one counter. I leave the other counter entirely open so that you have like full use of it. I'm gonna put some cookbooks on here, and I specifically picked the one with a pie on it because I was like, yeah, this is a baker's home. Just because like that sounds so cozy, like cottage core. It's raining outside, you got a garden full of flowers and a pie in the oven. It just sounds so like dreamy. So yeah, I definitely put that there, and I'm looking for a plant to put in this corner because if there's an empty corner, it's got to need a plant. But yeah, I did make sure that the navigation worked because I was a little bit worried at first that maybe it was like too tight a space, but it's not. It worked out. Then I add this little rug in here, and I call the kitchen complete. I'm gonna add a little picture from Cottage living here, and it looks so cute. It's like dogs and foxes and playing like cards at a table, and it's so cute. I only added tile to one wall in this, and it was a smaller wall because I thought it was like I'm gonna mix it up a little bit, and that's where the tub shower combo is gonna go, a shub, if you will. And then I add a toilet and a sink here, and then a mirror, like just bathroom things. I've said it once, I've said it before. The bathrooms are kind of boring in a way. I have been challenging myself in my last couple of builds to make like more interesting bathrooms. This is just not one of them. If the video was longer, I would have not kept it, but video is not too long, so I decided to keep it. I add lighting, and I have been trying to do so. That seems to give like the build more character than it has. So that's why I picked the ones I did pick. And here I am working on the master bedroom. I decided to kind of like, in my head, the lore is that this was actually an attic for the cottage, and it was kind of more of a studio, but the person who bought this, so your sim renovated it, or the person before your sim renovated it, into making this more like a modern bedroom. But I went ahead anyways and kind of decorated it with some items that seemed to be older or thrifted, and I really loved how that looked because it gives more to lore, in my opinion, and like the more you can add to personality and game lore is like the better. I did adjust these windows because it was kind of like cutting into the ladder and it looked kind of weird, but I think it came out fine. I decided to use like the painting combo kit that came from the Spooky Stuffs pack, spooky things. And then I added base game pictures, picked a whole bunch of different swatches, and kind of just filled out the rest of the negative space on that wall, and I thought it came out really nice. And then I go to place a couple of clocks around because you can't have too many. That's also another little like decor item that I thought was neat. Maybe this person collects clocks. That's kind of cool. But yeah, I'm adding just like a mirror up here. It's got two dressers, a mirror. I'm going to add a painting to the side here. A little Easter egg too, by the way, is I always add that painting to all of my builds, no matter what it is that I'm building. So you can keep an eye out for it when you download or when you watch one of my videos. I'm pretty sure I do. I'm pretty confident in that statement, but I could have missed it a time or two. Yep, and then I'm just going to add like just cozy items, like maybe those baskets came from outdoors. And I also made sure to, in a little bit here, I'll put a books on the dresser, and made sure that they were totally accessible because there's no books anywhere else in the build. And that's kind of something I like to include, at least in all of my like my family home or home builds, not so much like the community builds. But yeah, I'm just finding the perfect plants to put on the shelf that won't turn all weird colored and won't also halfway hang off of the shelf. And I think I did really well with this dog and this pig and this little base game plant. I think it looked really cute and really darling. I'm gonna change these to white and blue and add that bookshelf, and I should be out of here. Oh, just kidding, have to replace the lights, and I end up replacing them with the lights from the Dream Home Decorator kit, because I thought it added some character and it kind of really went with the theme. So now we're going to be working on the outside, and I couldn't resist but putting a little like lake in here. I guess it's more a pond, but nonetheless I absolutely love how it came out. I used the swatch with the leaves on it because I thought like it's not going to be clear. Look at all the forest foliage around, and I went kind of a little bit mad with putting things in it, but that's my favorite part of having like a pond or lake in a house build, is the fact that you can bring it to life with all of these different animals and stuff. And it like, if the Raven who built ponds out of pool tools before saw this, like I love I know I don't really add it very much into many of my builds because it doesn't necessarily fit every aesthetic. But I love the pool or the pond tool. I think it looks really nice. I do fix up the pond a little bit here in a minute because I realize like there's some sharp corners like you can see at the top and left corner of the pond itself. So I'm just kind of doing like a little bit of dirt detail, showing where I want the garden pieces to go. And I did the landscaping in my absolute favorite way, which is like rural English garden. It's like the best way I can describe it, because it's just like there's no laws, there's no rules, you can do whatever you want. I wanted to keep the darker dirt closer to the pond itself though, because it's kind of like thicker mud, you know what I mean, like that area is always kind of wet. And I'm like the worst at terrain tools, so don't like expect very much from me when it comes to terrain tools. They confuse me. But here I am. I'm just gonna start decorating for the majority it's off of the debug menu. I know that I used some that weren't debug, i.e. the vines and then the little purple flower ones whose name escapes me at the moment. But yeah, I keep saying it, but I absolutely love how this came out. And I tried using these taller ones later and they just didn't work, because the only complaint I do have about vines and stuff is that they're like oddly shaped. I go to show, for example, perfectly, it's like you have to get it right in the niche of the corner. It like sticks out really far, and then sometimes it will poke through your walls, and that's kind of frustrating. And it's funny that I say that, because if you stick around long enough to see the screenshots, you'll notice that there is a very small purple flower poking through the wall by the front door, like on the left of the front door. Right now as we're facing it, it's the right, but yeah, I noticed it when I was taking screenshots, and I try to be really good about that to make sure like the foliage isn't sticking through the wall. But yeah, I mean, if you download it, it's gonna be there, because I took the screenshots after I uploaded this build to the gallery, which it is available on, by the way. Just to plug in my socials right here while we're at it, you can find me on the gallery, Twitter and Instagram, all under Ravynthesimmer. Spell, oh my goodness, don't stutter now, girlfriend. Ravynthesimmer, all spelled the same as my YouTube channel. So if you want to give me a follow on those locations, please do. I'd be more than like happy to have you there. I decided to try switching these trees out to see the one that fit it, and it was the tree I originally had. I just had to turn it differently. That was kind of funny. But I'm just pulling out a whole bunch of debug plants from why did I almost say Eagle Lifestyle? That's not the right one. Cottage Living and the High School Years packs, because I liked when I almost did again. The Cottage Living plants, because they're so, like I said, English countryside rural plants, and they're super cute. And I wanted something to fill this dead space in, but I found these little pieces that came from you know what, I can't remember where it came from, but it absolutely came from either this or the high school pack. They're just like little tufts that pull out. Yeah, it's Cottage Living. But it filled the space really well and kind of made it look overgrown. And then I use these mushrooms just sprinkled over everywhere, and I just the mushrooms are my favorite. And I go through these like droughts where I don't use them because I totally forget that they're there. But yeah, we're gonna actually head on to screenshots, so be sure to like the video, leave a comment if you liked it, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Y'all have a great day. I did want to add that off camera, I totally added the bunny stump and the bird tree stump to this also, so you can interact with those animals. I just thought it was cute, and I wanted to tell you before I forgot. Yeah, that's it. Okay, for real this time. Goodbye.